A hard, intriguing truth. Rome wasn't built by courage alone. It was built by debt. Yes, the gleaming helmets, the disciplined legions. But behind the stage was a massive bill of debt. Food, roads, pay, horse feed, siege engines. All of it demanded money. The precise definition here is a whole lot of money. So how was this process managed, and how did it become what it did? In short, war was embedded into finance. Once the system started running, expansion stopped being a choice and turned into a necessity. Sound familiar? At the beginning, the army was made up of citizens. If you owned land, you were called up. You brought your own weapon and returned to your field when the campaign ended. As Rome grew and campaigns lengthened, that model collapsed. They moved to a professional army, and the state began paying a stipend, wage. It was small, but it created loyalty and belonging. Then came the big shift. Conquest became a revenue model. New province equals new taxes, new slaves, new mines, new tribute. Use what you gain to finance the next war. That's the loop. Only taxes, if only. Debt sat at the very center too. In long and expensive wars, like the Punic Wars, the Republic took huge public loans from the wealthy elite and the rising financial class, the equites. These weren't patriotic donations. They were straight-up investments. In return, they wanted interest, tax farming rights, and privileges in newly acquired lands. War turned into a profitable business. As profits rose, the appetite for war rose with it. Over time, the system became fully militarized. Generals who promised spoils amassed serious power, and senators acted like shareholders of violence. The publicani, private contractors, ran everything from logistics to taxation and made big money. Military-industrial capitalism in a toga. And with it, mounting costs. What happened when the money wasn't enough? The old trick: debase the currency. Starting with Nero, the silver in the denarius was reduced. Over 2 centuries, it was thinned and thinned again. The result: inflation, loss of confidence, and by the 3rd century, a full free fall of the monetary system. Meanwhile, the rich got richer, and the outcome was clear. They parked their wealth in land, slaves, and offshore accounts. The lower classes were crushed by inflation, burdened by heavy taxes, and paid through conscription. This wasn't just a military collapse, it was a monetary collapse. If we looked at today, huge budget deficits, wars financed by debt, quiet monetary expansion to plug the gaps, a financial class profiting from defense contracts and crises, a constant need for expansion, military, monetary, or market-based, it doesn't matter, to keep the system running. Not an exact copy, but the DNA feels eerily familiar. What does Rome tell us? An economy addicted to expansion always hits the wall. When there's no land left to conquer, no resources left to extract, no enemies left to crush, the system turns inward. The debt stays, the expectations stay. But most importantly, revenue dries up. What does the state do? More taxes, more monetary expansion, more control. Bread and circuses to distract the public, secure villas for the elites. Today the names have changed: taxes, quantitative easing, monetary policy. The mechanics are the same. The central bank prints, the government spends, the rich accumulate assets, the poor go to the store with shrinking paychecks. Wars are still paid for with debt. The bill? It's paid by the public through inflation, reduced services, and fragile currencies. And this cycle becomes normalized. Once debt becomes the default, you don't need a crisis to print money. Simply postponing collapse is enough. We declare the extraordinary ordinary. The longer it goes on, the more we pretend everything's fine, until it isn't. So what's in it for us? These aren't forgotten stories gathering dust on a shelf. They're early warnings. Rome shows a system that handed too much power to private finance, became addicted to expansion, hollowed out its currency, and crushed its citizens under unsustainable burdens. Not out of malice. There was no off switch. When the car's brakes fail, you can't stop. Today we have capital flows instead of legions. The empire is digital and global. The game is the same. Money and power move together. War is profitable. Inflation hits the weak, and financial illusions work until they burst. So what do? First, see the pattern. Most people don't. They think inflation is chance, taxes are fate, debt is freedom, and growth is endless. The Stoics called that delusion. You can't fully exit the system, but you can stop playing it blindly. You can strengthen your mindset as much as your money. Read financial history, not just personal finance. Watch systemic stress signals more than market noise. Ask, who profits while I stay confused? Because you weren't expected to ask these questions, and maybe they've succeeded at that. Have we ever truly asked how Rome financed its wars, and how states finance the process today? You were never meant to focus on these. You were told to watch the headlines, the GDP, the theater, not the mechanisms and incentives, but now you know. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Financial education isn't just spreadsheets and how do I invest. It means understanding power, recognizing systems, and piercing the illusion of stability. So next time you hear about a new crisis stimulus package, don't just watch, follow the money. Who lends? Who earns? Who ultimately pays the bill? So much is happening. Stay alert. History has always whispered this. Listen closely. Empires don't collapse because an enemy walks through the gate. They collapse when the math stops working and no one has the courage and resolve to fix it. If this perspective resonates, stick around. History holds the answers. And I'll show you exactly where to look.